Dave, good afternoon. Justin Turner has always given you professional ABs. Have you noticed anything in particular over the course of the last couple of weeks? He has a very nice hitting streak going on. I won't mention the number, but he just continues to hit.
No, I don't see anything different. I think that what I don't see different is what we see a lot with Justin is his consistency, understanding game situation, understanding approach, just trying to have good quality at bats. He'll take the walk. He'll get a base hit when we need it. He'll try to get a guy over, which he did the other night, but got robbed of a homer by Lewis in center field. It's just, and I don't know this streak, but I just know that, and I don't think he cares too much about it. I just think that he feels good at the plate. He's seen the baseball really well.
With what you saw yesterday from Belly, Muncy, and Jock, I know that you feel Muncy's close, but do you feel that those are all, naturally all good signs when your lefties that have struggled a little bit anyway, are starting to get things going?
Certainly. We're going to see considerably more right-handed pitching than left-handed pitching, and those guys we're counting on. And I think that, like I said, Muncy, I think, has been trending in the right direction for the last week. The at-bat quality consistently has been better. With Jock, I just really like that the last couple swings, all three swings he took last night as far as balls in play, just staying through the ball just a little bit better for me is a sign of good things to come. And with Cody, I think, getting above a ball last night and hitting it to the pull side gap was really good. He's just got to continue to trust that things are trending in the right way. Obviously he puts a lot of expectations on himself, which is normal, which is natural. But I just think that if he continues to stay within himself, good things will happen.
With Kershaw, after his outing last time, he said that he knew that velocity was in there, and it's nice to finally be able to see it come out again. What do you think that does for him?
I think it just adds that extra layer. If there ever could be more of confidence with Clayton, it just increases your margin and feeling that extra little bit of conviction when you do throw an arm side or glove side fastball, that you don't need to be perfect. And I think that which opens things up. And it just makes that differential with the slider, the curveball, that much more effective as far as the front to back.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next question from Dave Hasse. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Good morning, David.
Good morning. I was curious how much easier your job has been this year, knowing that Kenley is kind of close to being who he was a couple of years ago. How much easier has that made that for everybody on the team to not have that type of uncertainty in the ninth inning?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I think that Kenley is certainly getting back to where he was before, and I think that's a good thing for all of us, mostly Kenley. He's been fighting a lot of different things over the last couple of years, but certainly, in the ninth inning when we have the lead and to be able to call on him and to know it's locked down, that's a good thing for all of us. But, credit to him. He's put a lot of work into that.
Is that the biggest change you've seen from him in the last year, just how much work he has put in to try to be better, starting with the day after the NLDS? And even I've seen him on video and at Angel Stadium working in the bullpen before games. Is that the biggest difference that you've seen from him?
I think one thing is that's one thing, and he's always liked to work, but I think like most players, as you're around longer and you start to get a little bit older, you have the consistency and the need to be consistent with your work is heightened. And also I think for Kenley, there's some mechanical things with a big body guy like him. And I think this in particular, as far as the way the ball's coming out, there was a little bit of hand position, wrist position, that kind of led into where he was and then where he had gotten to and now where we're trying to get him back to. So, it just kind of started to get away from where he normally was, and that just sometimes happens.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next question is from Roy Castillo.
Hi, Dave. Oh, hi, Dave. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Jorge.
How you doing?
Doing great.
That's awesome. With Kershaw, what's the difference between that, that one not so good outing and those two good ones?
I think the not so good one, I think was a slider, or lack thereof that outing. It just wasn't consistent. It didn't have the depth that it typically does have. And then the other ones, I thought he did have it. That's one part of it. And I also thought that he commanded the fastball better than the other starts. So the curveball is a pitch that he'll mix in there. But as far as kind of the body of work in a particular start, it's the slider and the fastball. And so if he can, have the feel for the slider and command the fastball, it's going to be a great day.
This is one of those days where you need him to go just, deeper, just given what happened last night and the bullpen usage.
Honestly, for him, we just want him to continue to make pitches, go as deep as he can. We'll have guys behind him, but yeah, this is his game. This is his day. The bullpen did do a great job yesterday, eating up some innings, which was very helpful. But where we're at, I think we're in pretty good standing in the pen.
And any word on Rios?
Edwin is moving around. He's at SC. I don't know when he's going to come off, but he's progressing every day. It's been really good. So not sure what day he is eligible, but his activation should be shortly thereafter.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next question is from Ken Gurney. Go ahead, Ken.
Dave, you've had a lot of short starts this year. You've had a lot of short starts this year, more than last year at this time. You've got a lot of young starters in the rotation compared to last year, and you had a short ramp up. Is it more that reason, and maybe by design, or is it more just performance?
I think that if you look at all of our starters, I think that we have to look at them all separately. Some were by design, some were by performance. I think if you look at Walker, design. If you look at Alex Wood, Ross Stripling, some of those games, performance. Julio last night, performance. So I don't think that it's a situation where it's premeditated. I think that, for most of them, but some of them are, as far as the late ramp up. So I think ideally you get these guys pitching well and go as deep as they can, with health at the forefront as far as making sure they're okay.
And in spite of that, you've been able to kind of walk the fine line and use the bullpen a lot, and yet keep them fresh, and their performance has been good. Is that also by design, or is it just the fact that they've performed so well?
That's by design. Certainly we have a couple more guys in the pen, but there's been many days where if you sort of bucket Ferguson, for example, Ferguson and McGee, try not to pitch those guys the same day, or whether it Gratterall and Trinan, you bucket those two, and you have Floro who can do a lot of different things, and Santana with a little bit of length. I think that, and Cleric's been big for us. So I think that in Alexander, so all these guys trying to make sure, taking care of their usage, especially as we talked about, not only for the starters in the first month, but relievers, and just managing their workload. And I think that the process, the mindset of us as a staff, trying to take care of these guys, it still then puts each individual guy in a better position to have success. And that's what we're seeing.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Next question from Ron Cavalier. Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, Dave. Sticking with the bullpen, I know there's a lot of guys. Can you hear me now? There we go. Dave, sticking with the bullpen, I know there's a lot of guys that have contributed to how it's performed so far already this year, but are there any one or two that have really, in your mind, taken strides since summer camp or spring training that kind of stick out to you in particular so far?
I missed the first part, Ro. Was it the pen?
Yeah, with the pen. I mean, and obviously there's a lot of guys that are performing really well and making it what it's been so far, but I'm curious if there's one or two that have really taken strides that you've noticed have kind of stuck out since either summer camp or even going back to spring.
I think they've all done a great job. But I think to your question, if there's anyone that really kind of has stood out, I think for me, Dylan Floro. I just think that he's always gotten righties out, but his consistency with getting the left-hander out, going multiple innings, for me, he stands out beyond everyone else.
And another guy with Gratterall. A lot of guys have talked about how much.
And Gratterall, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll put Gratterall in that bucket too. Gratterall. Sure. We didn't know a lot about Brusdar, so I think that those two guys for me are at the top.
And then with Gratterall, a lot of guys have talked about how he's kind of been able to sort of lighten things up and his attitude. It just seems like, I mean, it kind of puts a smile on guys' faces. Do you have any examples of that? What does he do that's kind of, I don't know, brings some cheer to guys over there?
Well, I think the one thing that I see is there's some other things that guys in the pen that players see. But for me, he shags 3 groups a day. And for a reliever to just be out there and just be grateful that he's a big league ball player out on a big league field, running balls down, serving his teammates. I think I love seeing that. He's got this crazy big truck that he used to honk the horn when he would leave summer camp. And we would all know that he was leaving. He's in the pen and he's sort of like a cheerleader when a guy hits a homer or makes a great play. He's kind of like reenacting it, and guys just have really gravitated towards him. So I think for me, it's just that youthful enthusiasm component that is certainly refreshing.
Thank you.